Metal Gear RC, coming at you from the Wrench and Nut RC garage. As you can see, I've been doing a lot of 3D printing lately, all the 3D printed stuff in the garage today. I've been adding some stuff here, as well as been getting some stuff ready for Easy Boy RC. He's celebrating reaching his 1,000 subscribers, and he's planning on doing like a giveaway or something. So I've been doing some stuff for him, and we'll be sending it out to him shortly. But if you want to know more information, go ahead and hit him up on his channel, Easy Boy RC. I'll link the description below. What we have in the garage today is my old Tamiya F350 high lift. I got this, I'm not sure exactly if it was the same year it came out, but little story behind it is ever since I was a kid, I love monster trucks and always wanted a monster truck and wanted to build one myself, especially being RC and big into RCs. So I bought this one in the hope, because it was a Ford. It wasn't the 250 like the original Bigfoot, but it was a 350 and it was say close enough, and I can hopefully make it look similar to it, which I'll link a video somewhere right around here. Yeah, I did a lot of modifications to it and got some, it was the Clodbuster monster truck tires for it, and did a lot of upgrades, because it originally came with these for the frame of the body, well, the frame itself, and I think it was RC four-wheel drive that made this addition. All these aluminum parts I upgraded to the truck. I got them through there, but the downside to the monster truck was I was literally shattering gears in the differential box. With all the weight from the tires, the drive chain was just not meant for it. And even though I loved the truck, it was really beautiful. I had four-wheel drive, full-wheel steering. I even had this controller, because I wanted to have independent control of the rear and the front. So this was your forward steering, and this was your rear steering. So I had to teach myself how to steer both of them with this one stick. Plus, it was a 3-speed. So you had your gas here, and then you would shift first gear, second gear, third gear, and up and down would be given the gas. I even purchased this plate that was specially for it, and it screwed it into it, and that's how you would know what gear you in, and giving either forward or reverse for this truck. Being that it was so rough on the drive chain and these leaf springs, it was tearing up these leaf springs as well. So I went ahead, took the big monster truck tires off, and I did put the original tires back on, which these are I think they're 1.9 rims, wheels here. And these are the original truck tires. I put those on there. But I found out about rock crawling. And I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. I want to do that. So I purchased a Novak. Any of y'all old time RC guys, gals know about Novak. They had a brushless system and they made it for crawling. I'm not sure if they were the first ones to do the braking system or not, but this was kind of popular, and I always liked Novak brushless systems because I never did care for brush motors in the first place, because the brushless always had better torque, more power, more speed, and they were more efficient. Your battery lasts a lot longer, so you got a lot more playtime out of your battery packs. Then, as you've probably seen before on my Toyota Bruiser clone, you've probably seen these tires. These tires here. Well, I originally purchased a set, which I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, when I ordered these tires. They never showed up. It was a little over a month or more, and I contact RC 4-wheel drive about them, and they were like, oh, it probably got lost or something. So they went ahead and sent me a second set of 4 tires. Well, the second set got to me first, and then the first set finally got to me, and I was like, hey, they sent me, I finally got the second one, and they were like, just go ahead and keep it. So I had 2 sets of these tires. And as well as I purchased these bead lockers from them as well for these tires. So I only have 1 set of these for all 4 wheels. And I mounted a ball in here, which I put that on my truck, and so I could do a little mudding and as well as rock crawling, and which I loved, had fun. But hey, life in the military, so I didn't do it as much as I would have liked to. And here's the body. There's a hard body that came with it, and this one mounted somewhere right around there. And then the back end, the bed, was on a pivoting system where this would hook up to it, and then you just pin it, just 2 pins, and will sit together just like this on there. And then you just open this up to get to your battery. It was somewhat simple, but as you can see, I definitely have some battle wounds from the rock crawling I was doing back then. It did take a toll on some of the parts on the inside, breaking it, and as well as I'm thinking there was something in the water, because years later I noticed that the plastic, especially the ones that was on the axle, was deteriorating and just cracking and falling apart. So I recently purchased these to replace the plastic axles in the front and rear. I've already done the rear. I took it apart, cleaned it up, re-greased it. I used this here, some silicone grease, really good, especially for plastics, and water. So I re-greased them and put it together, but I also changed out, because they came where, yes, you can have 4-wheel steering like I had in my big monster truck, but also did purchase the straight shaft off the differential for the back, so I didn't have to lock the hubs in there, so it stayed straight all the time, stayed true straight all the time. So I'll be doing this one next. as well as I had to take all the leaf springs off and rebend them, straighten them up. And since I'm going to make this truck, I'm not really going to do much rock crawling with it. I think I'm going to probably do more of a toy hauler, where I'm going to have a hitch and trailer for this one. But I went with the 3 leaves. This one, and this one for now. I might have to go ahead, and it originally came with a set of, I think it was 5. You had your main, and you had 3 additional sizes. And I just used the one down from this one and the smallest one. So the way it would go would be your main leaf spring, this one, the one I have on the truck right now, and then you would have this guy here, and then the shortest one, which is here on the truck as well. You sandwich those together, and with a little screw, you would hold it together so you can put it on the truck. But I went ahead, did the 3 for now, and we'll see how that handles, because I didn't want to be too stiff. But being that I do want to be a toy hauler, may need a little more spring into the leaf springs to handle the weight. These are not the original shocks that came with the truck. These actually I stole from a T-Max, a Traxxas T-Max, if anyone remembers that one. I had purchased the aluminum shocks for it, and they have 8 shocks on it with coilover springs. But I went ahead, I got rid of the T-Max. I kind of got out of the nitro stuff, but I didn't just wanted to get rid of all my good aluminum parts I had. So I went ahead and I kept these aluminum shocks, which later on I found out, hey, these actually fit this truck. So I took the coilovers off, and I just use them for the actual smoothness of my suspension, to give it a little shock to it, and not with the spring, because I didn't need the extra lift from the springs. So that's how I pretty much set that up. And I do have the original link. This the steering servo goes here, and it links up to here, which then turns your front wheels, as well as there was a mount you can mount here. You can link it up and then turn your rear tires as well. But when I did it with the monster truck, this was definitely not strong enough. So I with my limited supply of tools, being I was living in the military dorms, I went to a local Japanese hardware store, and got some aluminum parts, and with some tin snips and a drill and some drill bits. I made this so it could fit, and the way it would fit, it would actually mount on top. Got some plastic pieces here that would sandwich between your leaf springs. So you had your bottom piece, you had your leaf spring, and then you have your top part that goes on there. Well, on both sides, it lifts up pretty well, enough to get over the differential. And so I'd mount it right there, and I would mount the servo onto that bracket, and then I would steer it with 2 separate servos. I would steer it that way, especially for the monster truck, because those tires were big and heavy. Especially, I actually had the aluminum rims on there. So it definitely needed some high torque, high power servos. And the linkage the linkage for the steering was just not cutting it. They had a lot of slop in it, a lot of spring to it. So that's why I did this. And made two almost identical brackets that I had on there. But this was the truck that got me started into rock crawling. And now years after, I was planning on saving this later on, pulling out, redoing it. But I was talking with Easy Boy. We were talking all about Easy Boy RC, and we were talking about like different things for 3D print. He gave me a good idea, but I needed this truck to do it. So that's why I pulled this one out earlier than I was wanting to do. But I'm trying to get this one together, so I'm going to be doing some testing of some 3D parts. We're going to put something to the test to see how well 3D parts versus metal. And I would probably say right off the bat, 3D printed parts versus metal parts. I want to say if you're in a pinch, you got a 3D printer, go for it. But if you get metal's probably better. But I still want to put it to the test. See if you could 3D print parts that will last. So look forward to that. Also, one of the cool things about this truck here is it has a 3-speed transmission in here. And your shifting servo, which was a full-size servo, set right here up front. And there's a shaft that goes into the transmission, both front and rear, that you can hook up a servo to push or pull and to go from first, second, and third. That was one of the selling points for me getting this truck too. Is yes, I wanted to build myself my childhood dream monster truck that was an RC, but it had a 3-speed transmission. That was really awesome to me, especially growing up. Even before I got into the hobby grade RCs, I've actually had a couple, I think it was one more bought Tyco or Nyko, whatever. I don't remember what brand it was, but they actually had a high and low transmission on there, but it was all manual. And when I seen this one, I was like, oh, I gotta have that. It reminded me of that RC I had when I was a kid. And even as a kid, I was like, oh, I wish I could switch this from my remote control. And well, this was my chance. And I was single. I had a lot of money. I was big into RCs. I was like, might as well. I'm going to get it. So I got this one. I have more stuff to do to this. And so if you haven't seen Easy Boy RC videos, go check him out. He is planning on having a giveaway for reaching his 1,000 subscribers on his channel. So go check him out for the details. And as for now, I need to get back working on this guy. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Tell me what truck that you had got you into rock crawling. Thanks for watching. Until next time.